podcast? You can now find us on Patreon at the LunaPod, where you can show your support for the podcast for only $1 a month. Or for a little bit more, you can get early access and bonus episodes, contribute to our podcast segments, and receive exclusive video content as we film our reactions, reviews, and discover new K-pop groups. Head over to Patreon now to join the community. We can't wait to chat with you. I just wanted to give a little shout out to our scrapped 2022 recap.
Woo!
Listen, I thought 2022 was hard to pick like the best releases, and then 2023 happened, and somehow things just keep getting better and better every year, and I'm honestly just terrified for this year as well.
Hi, welcome to the LunaPod, where we talk all things K-pop. I'm Brooke.
And I'm Brickell, and this is going to be our 2023 recap of not only the K-pop industry in general, but our favorite songs and releases, because that's like the best part. So we are going to go through month by month and talk about the releases that happened that month and go over our top picks. And by the end of this episode, we are going to choose a song of the year, which is scary, but let's just do it. Let's get into it. I can't even tell you how long this episode took to plan out, because going through every release that happened every month was insane.
So kicking it off with January, I'm just jumping right into it. I really have no transition, but I really enjoyed 8 Turns debut, very unique style.
Oh, it was so good. And we were like so intrigued with them because they had those cat ears hats. Yeah. Like the beanies with like little cat ears. And it was like a staple.
That was like early on when that was becoming a trend too.
Yeah. Yes. We were like, wow, they are like trend setting. This is a staple. We call them our hat boys actually, because they always have like the most fun hats. But yeah, that entire album, like Tic Tac was really good, but also Heartache came from that album. And that was insane. That was one of my like possible choices for the best song of this month because it is so good.
One We changed the literal trajectory of my life with Gravity, like English version.
Yes. If you are new to our podcast, you probably have not heard this story. We won't go super into it, but this song was deeply ingrained in our brains and was an entire like Where's Waldo treasure hunt, for a hot second. So yeah, it definitely left an impact.
And I got into a heavy SF9 mood from the start of the year, possibly because of Channy, but because of Puzzle.
Yeah.
That kick-started everything with them.
Yeah. I remember like sitting down and watching that and being like, wow, wait a second, we're in trouble.
We're missing out.
Yeah.
And so we like binged so many of their comebacks and we're obsessed. And from all the releases this month, it honestly feels like TXT's Sugar Rush Ride should be anyone's obvious choice.
Yeah.
But I'm going with Beautiful Liar by Monsta X. They're my ults, so it's kind of like...
It's like obligation.
The choice is quite literally biased. But it was just a classic, powerful, like, unbelievable comeback for them. We even said in last year's episode that it was the song of the year, like the second it was released.
Yeah.
So I had to at least give it song of the month for January in case I didn't give them a song of the year. But we'll see at the end of the episode.
Stay tuned. Also, just want to tune in Monsta X's album that was released in general. We also got the song Daydream, which is so good. I had that on repeat for a hot second. But some other very iconic songs that we got from January was OMG by New Jeans. We also got Ayo from NCT.
Mm-hmm. That was good. That was like, I love that album a lot.
Yeah, me too. And I was having a very similar issue with choosing the song of the month for January because Sugar Rush Ride feels like you have to, you know what I mean? But I was also really on the fence with Heartache because that song truly just means a lot to me for some reason. I don't really know why, but I also am choosing Beautiful Liar by Monsta X. This dropped at the very beginning of the year, and I remember we looked at each other and we went, uh-oh, this is the best song of the year, and it's literally a week into it. Like, we're in trouble. And I remember we ended up doing a Twitch stream a little while after. We were playing a game where it was a save one, drop one for the songs. And Beautiful Liar by Monsta X came on, and we were immediately like, oh, no doubt about it. Like, this is the song. Like, you can't even sway us. This is heavy on our brains. It's the best song of the year. we were saying as a week into the year. But anyways, and then it was kind of funny because the one song that could possibly go against Beautiful Liar popped up. One of our favorite songs of all time, Killing Me by Icon, came on, and we just had we were laughing, we were stressed because we had already used our Joker. Like, it was, if you play K-pop games, you know what we're talking about. But anyways, this song is very much deserved as Song of the Month for January.
And speaking of Joker, we are giving ourselves one Joker this episode where we can choose 2 songs for 1 month. And it doesn't have to be the same month. I don't even know if you do the same month.
I don't think so either. Yeah. We are doing this K-pop game style, and it was also just some of the months were really hard, so... Also super random, but for the month of January, we got to go to 2 different concerts. We went to NCT 127, and we also got to see ONE-US for the second time. So that's not really related to the rating game that we are doing at the moment, but super fun. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Now, February was a pretty good month. Excited to hear from Purple Kiss again with Sweet Juice. And we had some classics from the boys in Last with Roar and Thrill. And then we have to give a big shout out to Chrome Hearts by Only One Of, since we got to see it live during their last tour, and we completely fell for them then.
Oh, they're amazing. You think a song is good, and then you hear it live, and you're like, okay, that's,
everything.
Yeah.
And then Busoksoon's Fighting, Triple S Rising, and Insign's Salty were all super dancey, but Fighting alongside with Sooyoon's Bad were some of my favorites, and just very hard to decide between those two, because I had even listed Sooyoon's song as like one of my favorites just in general during our like updated tag, I guess, and they have completely different vibes. But I'm going with Fighting by 17's Busoksoon. What am I doing if I'm not choosing that?
Yeah, this is so your song that I have now associated this song with your happiness. Like,
love that.
Yeah.
Like, I listened to the 2 back and forth a lot, and I was like, oh, I love them both. But, like, once Fighting came on, oh my gosh, I wasn't upset, but I just cheered up, like, so much more. And, like, you can't help but smile and dance around. So I was, like, in the middle of doing this episode, second month, and I was distracted for, like, 30 minutes, just, like, dancing around to this. So, the happiness, the joy that Fighting brings overpowers how much I love Bad.
It's a great choice for this month. Also for February, just wanted to shout out that 50/50 did release Cupid. That was a song that definitely went viral, and so just wanted to throw that in here. But my song of the month is going to be Killer by Key. It was a song that I had on repeat for so long, and it is still in my album. I have a specific like Spotify playlist that I listen to on repeat, and they'll change them out depending on like my mood. Killer has stayed in this for ever since February. So I'm like, you know what? It needs to be there. Yeah.
Moving into March, we got Rover from Kai in this month, so that already says enough.
Yeah.
And then Sooyoon did a collab with RM for Smoke Sprite, and that's like how I initially discovered her and got into her music, so very thankful for that. Speaking of BTS members, Jimin released Set Me Free Part 2. That's just
so iconic.
So incredible.
Yeah, it was just like really proud of him.
It was very powerful. Just like everything was so him. I loved that comeback.
Yeah. We also got J-Hope on the Street with Hobie and J. Cole, so that was really fun. This entire year was filled with a lot of BTS solo albums and collabs. So we'll be mentioning quite a few of them, but not all of them. Just note that there was a lot of them.
And Psychers had an incredible debut. And I was loving Zodiac right from pre-debut release with Calling. Incredible.
I think Zodiac has impacted our K-pop lives way more than we ever planned.
It's so ridiculous. I was on Pinterest a lot last night. This is what happens every time that I watch their video for Calling, because if you're not familiar with this video, please watch it. Zodiac Calling. They had this video recorded and like filmed in Hong Kong Disneyland.
Wild.
What?
A pre-debut song on Disney property?
Yeah, and Mickey made an appearance at the end. Like,
yeah. Spoiler alert.
Like completely. Like what? It was insane.
And not only that, but this song is incredible. They sound incredible. They looked incredible. They were in the fanciest outfits. Like, this pre-debut was insane. And
the crazy impact that this left on me makes this my song of the month. So definitely my choice. But also during this month, Bobby completely won my heart with his solo work, especially Drowning. And my girl crush heart was bursting because Mamamoo Plus, their like Subunit with Solar and Moonbyul. They released Chico Malo. The concept was everything. The video was stunning. I fell in love.
They don't ever release bad things, so yeah, that was it was fantastic. Also in the month of March, we did get to see Stray Kids in concert. So much fun. It was a blast. And some other releases that happened in March was Soul Drift by Only One Of. We also got Rare House, who released Illegal, which they do not go by Rare House anymore. They actually go by 82 Major, but this is when their pre-debut was released, and Illegal is so good. We have done an entire deep dive into 82 Major over on Patreon, so definitely go over there to check out that video. We also got a release by TAN, Fix You, which we also got to see them recently in concert, and so I already really enjoyed a majority of their music, and so that was just a really good release. We also got Kitsch by IVE, which is very iconic and very catchy. And Jisoo from Blackpink also released Flower. That was surprisingly good. I wasn't expecting to like that one as much as I did, but it got really stuck in my head and I really enjoy it and the choreography. We also had another very popular release by Bam Bam, Sour and Sweet, and then aespa also released Hold On Tight. This was one of the songs that I was considering doing for my Song of the Month because it is really good, but I did go with Rover by Kai because like we said at the very beginning, that is one of the most iconic things that's ever been released ever, so that is definitely my Song of the Month choice.
Jumping into April, this month sucks. Not music-wise, but just choosing a favorite because this was a superior month for me. And bold to say, but I think I'm deciding this was my favorite month.
T.
So...
Also, we got to see Only One Of in concert this month too, so man, that was a good month.
Good month overall.
Yay, April.
Once again, the first one I'm saying, that's enough to tell you that this was the best month. 17 released Super.
This was like game-changing. It was...
I've never heard such a K-pop release in my entire life.
Yeah. I don't care if you're really into 17 or not. You knew this release happened, and you were probably listening to it on repeat.
In another release that completely changed lives, Do Jae-jung from NCT, Doyoung, Jaehyun, and Jongwoo released Perfume. They have crack in this.
Yeah.
It is addictive.
They have it in the song, in the choreography, in the actual perfume bottle that comes in the album. Can we just throw that out there? That's crazy.
And we got Yoongi's groundbreaking album D-Day, Excenary Heroes' highly anticipated album Deadlock, and some personal favorite fun releases were iKON's Tintara, Blitzer's Macarena, and Zodiac's Throw a Dice.
Which was their official debut, right?
Yes.
Yeah, super fun. Kim Usak released Dawn, who's an artist I'm not super familiar with, but I enjoy a lot of his releases. We also got Golden Hour by Mark. That was iconic.
That was just like a whole meme, basically.
It was, yeah.
So good.
Very Mark-coded of him. And also, along with iKON's Tantara, we got the song Rum Pum Pum, which is so good and is also on my repeat album.
I feel like you leaned more towards that, where I leaned more towards Tantara.
Yes, yeah. We also got the super iconic collab with Lisa and Taeyang for Shung. And then I also just wanted to throw out there that Baekhyun released Hello, and I almost forgot this happened, and then I shamed myself because Baekhyun's vocals are next level, and this song is absolutely stunning, so he just really deserved the shout out for this month. My Song of the Month for April, though, has to be Macarena by Blitzers. This song is just an instant pick-me-up, and it is one that I will listen to at any time, any day. It is so much fun and so good.
You can't resist dancing to it.
Exactly.
And like I said, this is like my favorite month, basically. So genuinely the hardest for me to choose from. I had iKON's Tintara and Excenary Heroes' Dear H on my favorite song list for our 1 year episode. But Yoongi is my ult, and so that album meant so much to me. So this is where I decided to use my Joker and pick 2 songs, and my 2 songs are Dear H by Excenary Heroes and Amygdala by August D or Yoongi. These both make me extremely emotional, and even like, I mean, it's not a year yet, but we're getting there. Even like so long after, I genuinely can hardly listen to these 2 songs without crying because they just mean that much to me. So yeah, I had to use my Joker.
Next, jumping into May. First and foremost, we got to see TXT in concert, and we also got to see Elast. Super fun. LE SSERAFIM released Unforgiven, which is a super iconic one this month. LE SSERAFIM also released Eve Psych and the Bluebeard's Wife.
I feel like they just reconfirmed that they're like moving up as a top girl group for me.
Yeah, and they just, this year, honestly, some of these girl groups just really came through. We also have G-Idol with Queen Card, and then we also had our debut of Boy Next Door, who ended up getting very popular, and so that was definitely a highlight of this month.
Hypen released the best song to ever exist, Bite Me.
Yeah, that one rocked my world a little bit.
I think he rocked everyone's.
That was actually my song of the month. So,
spoiler.
Yeah.
We basically had every kind of release, from emotional with CIX's Save Me, Kill Me, and complete opposite Sexy with Card's Icky. And I completely fell in love with every single song from aespa's Welcome to My World.
No, oh my gosh,
those vocals.
They're so good.
Like, I feel like it's super basic to be like, oh, the latest album is my favorite, but it's so
genuinely,
good.
Yeah.
Like, every song was good. And another album with just complete bangers was Onus's Pygmalion.
Yeah, this had Erase Me for the title track, and it was unbelievable. I'm honestly, like, so proud to call myself a two-moon, and I am so excited for what they have in store for this year, because, again, this last year was just really, really good for them.
And Monsta X just had a good year overall, even though they're kind of in their enlistment era right now. Honey released an amazing album, I Will Cry to Freedom when I see it live, and I'm manifesting that one day. And I never expected to be so obsessed with an OST. I enjoy them, but they're not ones that I ever really repeat listen. I'll just like check it out and that's about it. But here we are with Kihyun's Full Moon for Tale of Nine-Tailed 1938. I just, again, if you ever try to tell me he's not the best vocalist in K-pop, in one ear, out the other, I don't care, you're wrong.
You have to go listen to this song, because I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you right now, you don't understand what you're getting into. Like, when you're going through YouTube and you're typing in Full Moon, Tale of the Nine-Tailed, Kihyun, you don't realize what you're about to experience. And it is crazy. I really like OST songs. I don't necessarily listen to them constantly, but I have quite a few on my playlist. But this,
I don't skip it.
No. It leaves me in a state of awe. Honestly, I feel like this was, even with being an OST, I feel like this was a real big contender for Song of the Month.
The one I decided to go with for my Song of the Month came from Onus's album. It is the intro song, so Intro Lethe.
Which, quick throwing that out there, we actually have a Chaos chapter called the Lethe Pod. Really fun, go check that out. Anyways.
So Hypen Sacrifice quickly became one of my favorite Hypen songs, which is saying a lot because they are genuinely one of the only K-pop groups where I enjoy every single song they release. Yes, even the Baby Shark collab.
Shout out to Keep Swimming Through, though. It's really good.
Kind of joking, but not really. It's bop.
Yeah.
But I cannot deny how much of an impact this silly little intro made on me. It gave James Bond amazing vocalists. I could drown in this sound. Like, the sound of it's so amazing. And they did more in 1 minute and 26 seconds than some others do in 3 to 4 minutes.
Facts.
I'm so sorry, but you need to listen to it. It's just a song that I feel in my soul, like something about it I connect with. I have no clue what that is or what that means, but it's very similar to how I feel about Blind Love by Great Guys. Just like, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a part of me.
I'm like realizing
no sense, but
I completely understand, because I have my songs that are that way too. Like, it just touches your soul and it scratches the brain, and like for some reason just makes you feel so happy. What is that?
I don't know.
Are there scientists out here listening to this podcast right now that can explain this phenomenon? I feel like May was just a bunch of releases that sounded like you're ascending. I think I'm coming to that conclusion. That's all.
So June, halfway through the year, we do technically have a June recap.
Wait, hold up.
What?
I missed B2B.
Whoa.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Back it up. Whoa.
I almost forgot. May. One of the best releases of this month was Wind and Wish by B2B. We have an attachment to this song that I can't explain, and it's not in the way that you're thinking. However you're thinking, get it out of the brain, because that's not what this is. Yes, it's great vocals, great cinematography, love B2B, but also this song is a big inside joke to us, and we're obsessed with it. We sing it all the time. We have our own choreography.
Yeah, we went real silly one night and just like created a whole choreo. I think it was like right after Peniel's part, I think. Or, like,
Yeah,
it was, like,
including
during
his
his part and right after, like, that chorus.
It's so fun. And like this proves once again that B2B never fails to make us happy, and I will forever love them for that. Anyway, back to June. Sorry, can't believe I almost forgot that.
So June, we do have our June recap episode out already, so you can check that out if you want more depth into this month. But to briefly go over things, so glad Yoongi and Halsey collabed again with Lilith for Diablo 4. It was incredible. The video was beautiful.
It was just like a side to, I feel like honestly both of the artists that like we don't see very often, and it was just really, really great, especially for a video game release. Okay, also this year the video game soundtracks were top tier in general.
And we just had really good solo releases. Overall, we had Taeyong's Shalala, which was his like first solo debut officially. We got IM's Overdrive, ridiculous. We talked about that in our Dancing with Monsta X Chaos chapter. 18 up though, so get out of here, kids. And PH1, that man is always on my mind.
Yeah, felt.
And also it looks the same. P1 Harmony Jump, instant classic.
That was so good.
It was amazing. And if we ever interview them, I don't care if it's from 2 years from now. I'm like, okay, remember in 2023 when you released this banger?
Yeah.
Okay, we're now interviewing banger. On the trampoline. You can only answer questions while you're midair.
I feel like Jump is the perfect song to get pumped up to. It feels like a club song in the best way possible. That was honestly one that I seriously considered for my song of the month of June. June was really hard for me.
Yeah, June was a good month. Another great release was VAV with Designer, which feels even more special after we like just saw them like what, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
2, 3?
Yes. Such a good concert, by the way. Definitely stay tuned for a concert review for them. But Designer is so good. I think, again, it's kind of cliche to say that their most recent release is my favorite, but it truly is that good.
And Team had lore-heavy reference with Firework, which I just totally ate that up. I love Hybe artist lore a lot. And I'm more recently getting into Anteams, especially since I'm very into Hypens and there's Link Up. So I was really excited to see like the references in there. A favorite light bubblegum, I guess you can say, was Zodiac's Special Love and NCT Dream's Broken Melodies. I'm usually not as into like the bubblegum sound, both of us, but those weren't like too over the top. They were just like softer, I would say.
Yeah, these are like the exceptions because these are two of the best like soft songs I've ever heard. Yeah. Like both of these songs are genuinely in my tops of the year in general.
And we had big releases from big artists like Stray Kids, S-Class, ATEEZ, Bouncy, and SHINee's Hard.
This month was crazy. Yeah, that alone is wild.
And we had some just kind of more shocking releases with Treasure's Unit T5's Move, which I just wasn't expecting that whatsoever. And us just completely falling head over heels with our instant biases in WeI with Overdrive, and I really loved Thriller as well.
We also had another release by 8turn with Excel, and we also had EXO release the music video officially for Let Me In, which included Kai, and I just wanted to kind of talk about that for a second. Yeah, because this was right when he got sent off to the military without any warning, but he was still included in this music video, so it was just really sweet to see him in this. We also got Acrobat 2 by Gwangjo Jo.
So good.
Incredible.
So good.
We just recently discovered him. He is like one of the fastest rappers in K-pop, if not the fastest rapper.
It says that a billion times.
No, but it's true. Also, probably one of the best songs from this month was Wasteland by King Daniel. Mm-hmm. This song is so addicting, and we realized one day it's because it sounds like a nursery rhyme. And I can't remember exactly, in one of our episodes we talked about it, I can't remember exact nursery
French
rhyme.
One.
Yeah, it's a French.
Yeah.
Whatever that one is. But it just like, it triggers your childhood memories and instantly gets stuck in your head and you just have like an attachment to it. But it's very, very good.
And speaking of that one, I was really back and forth between Wasteland, which is like we mentioned that in our June recap heavily. But as time passed, I fell even more in love with Running High from Han Sung-woo, and that's what I ended up choosing. I heavily advocate for him in general during that June recap. Like, we went in on June.
We did.
Because they went in.
Yeah. Yes.
I
Period.
feel like that was like the dumbest sentence ever. Mark Lee kind of
What?
thing. But yeah, I advocate for that man. He's amazing. Great vocals. He's just so underrated and makes my Alice heart very happy and break at the same time because I really miss Victor.
I had a very difficult time choosing the top song at the beginning. Now, I need to explain this for a second. You probably see my outline here, and I've got so many songs marked as like my possible favorites because I was really going through it. We had Special Love by Zodiac, which is just really, really special to my heart in general. We had Jump by P1 Harmony, which is a banger. Bouncy by ATEEZ, that's an old group and probably my favorite song of the year for them. We also had Hard by Shiny, which grew on me so much and I listened to on repeat for a solid like 3 weeks. But I have to choose Broken Melodies by NCT Dream. And this kind of surprised me, but I was listening to all of these songs briefly and I burst into tears when listening to this song. And I have done this before. This is not like a one-time thing. For some reason, like we were talking about the songs that touch your soul, for some reason this is a song for me. I don't know how to explain that. I don't know why, but it is one of my favorites. So that's my June winner.
So for July, we got a very unexpected but satisfying collab between PH1 and Kata. Another unexpected collab, TXT and the Jonas Brothers. What? That is that's my childhood and adulthood mixing, and
Yeah.
I had no words. And apparently it was just time for collabs because Enhypen had a Pokemon collab.
It is literally the
was
sweetest
adorable.
thing. Yeah.
NCT Dream released ISTJ, which is literally me. That's my MBTI, so they made it for me. Thank you. And they gave us Poison, and honestly, just so many good songs from that album. Very thankful for that release. Icon's J and 17's June had great solo comebacks with Blue Moon and Psycho, and some great comebacks from EXO as well with Cream Soda and honestly New Jeans, everything.
New Jeans was another one of those girl groups that I feel like just took over this year. And all of their songs basically went viral. So that honestly speaks volumes.
I feel like everything they do goes viral.
Yeah.
And similar to last month with EXO's Let Me In, just kind of more emotional because Kai had just recently left. And with Cream Soda, they made references to him, which just made me so happy. Like at the big like dinner table, they had a place card like at his place setting, which was really sweet. And then they kind of do like the from his solo they did that dance move from it, like very briefly. So it was just like small little references to kind of like, yeah, everyone misses him.
Yes. We've talked about this before. Conspiracy theory, nobody expected him to leave for military at that time. Are you kidding? With all these references and like him in that music video, there's no way. Anyway, ramble.
I was very happy for Zero Base One's debut with In Bloom. That was a highly anticipated one after we had watched Boys Planet. And I just love my little 5th gen duo, Shonu and Hyungwon, for Love Me a Little. Literally every song was amazing and could bop to slow dance for forever.
Yeah, this album was crazy. This was also Monsta X's first subunit, and they've been around since, 2015, I believe? So that was just like really iconic of them in this year anyways. And Roll With Me is another song from that album that is so unbelievably good. And I remember when we listened to this, we quite literally said that I have never heard this sound in K-pop before. And that is a very big statement. And honestly, I decided to choose it as my song of the month for July because I had that definitely on repeat for a long time. I feel like a lot of my song of the it was so good. I feel like a lot of my song of the month choices ended up occurring because I had the song on repeat for a long time. So
and I ended up choosing NCT Dream's Poison. This song is just a guilty pleasure for me. The second they released the track video, I genuinely think I died. I love the direction they're going in, incorporating more mature sound for them now that they're getting older and just kind of like letting them grow up. I feel like we're so used to getting like more of a youthful side of them, so it's kind of nice to having like mature image be incorporated now and kind of like mixing the two. So yeah, this song, love. And then they released that little like performance dance practice. Moving on to August, major shout out to the boys for releasing shirtless pics for lip gloss promo. But also I was so confused because they're like Christmas, but it's summer and they're at the beach and there's sweaters, but then there's no shirts.
yeah, it was interesting, but loved the photos. Yeah.
Jumping back to like a Monsta X OST, Joo Honey's OST hip hop for Behind You Touch is so underrated. And DPR Ian released Peanut Butter and Tears, and it was just an instant love for me. It genuinely reminded me so much of the music I listened to in college, and it makes me miss, not school, not that age frame, but miss driving around like in my little beach town with my windows down, like just jamming to music. Like it was just it's a vibe, and that's exactly what this song gave me, like that time back. Miss it so much.
DPR Ian's songs tend to do that a lot. Like they're all very vibey in different ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one was incredible.
And NCT 2023 happened. Their like yearly albums are always such a joy. And we got Baggy Jeans and The Bat. Those two were like very high up there for this month. So I was back and forth with a few songs, but I did finally like land on one this month. Gia from One Week had a release for the second time this year. This time like with little like 2 songs with units with Dongmyeon and Haran. They were so good, and like I like that both songs gave very different concepts. It was nice to have that contrast with the 2 different members.
It felt like very drastically different duos, like together, like the subunits, I guess you could say.
And iKON's Panorama music video was such a great watch. We just like randomly deep dived into this by accident. We're like, wait, what is actually happening here?
Like we need to know the
just
story.
going back and forth. So I really love the storyline there. And some surprising releases were Rise's Siren, just literally out of nowhere, and just loved them to death. And Triple S Girls Capitalism was another fun one. I really enjoyed that music video as well. And BTS's V released his first EP, Layover. It just showcased his smoothness and his just rich tones so well.
And just like his style in general, like it was such a good
like if
good
you need
release.
to melt to some music, like that's the album. It just speaks to like, I don't know, just he's very old soul anyway. So like it's very comforting. And TAN released Heartbeat, which is severely underrated. Overall, just an amazing album. I really enjoyed a lot of songs from it. Especially after we saw them live, we got to see a bunch of these unit songs. And especially Jekyll and Hyde.
That one was so good.
The bridge is beautiful. Love it. And Tarzan is literally my favorite song of theirs. And it's actually the song that I chose for this month. It is such an addictive song and sound. I can listen to it and immediately feel a little bit more relaxed, even though it's not like that kind of slow ballad you would think of when like being relaxed. I can just kind of like dance anything off with this. I don't know, like I'm not mad, but I can dance off, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Taylor Swift Shake It Off, we're dancing it off.
Oh, fun.
I really just like the contrast in look and performance style between Taehyun and Jisung. It's just so pleasing to watch, especially live.
It's like an ace of songs. Like
Yes.
the entire concept of Ed's sound and everything.
It just has the perfect duality, especially during performance.
Some other really fun releases for August was from TVXQ released Vuja Day and Nexus, and they were absolutely incredible. We also got another release by aespa, Better Things, which was released right around the time that we actually got to see them in concert this month. We also had Slay by Everglow, and we also had Gio from Twice release Killin' Me Good, and I developed an instant girl crush with that one. I still have not chosen a bias for Twice, but it's probably her. Anyways, we also had a release by Lev or Levy, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that, with AI Bay, and we did talk about this in our Where Boys Planet Contestants Are Now episode, and it was just very, very good. Along that same line, and in that episode as well, we talked about TIOT and their release Unbeatable, which is fantastic, and I'm really, really excited to see what happens with this group in the future. And we also had our discovery of Boy Story. I'm not sure if we actually discovered them in this month, but this is when they released their song Zip, and it is
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. It was because I think that was why they popped up on our feed, is because they had just released this. But Boy Story is so, so good, and this song was really just way more than I could have ever expected, and again, listen to it all of the time, so that is my choice for August's song of the month.
Going into September, it kind of felt like a slower month for me, at least. I don't know if you felt that way.
Yes,
yes and no. Like there were some really good ones, but overall, I feel like there weren't like as many. If that makes sense.
Agreed. And they were more of like almost underrated songs that were released. I feel like there weren't a ton of big names dropping big songs.
Yeah. And so similar to the TXT and Jonas Brother collab, we got 17 and New Kids on the Block. Literally, what in the world?
Nobody was expecting this.
No.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just collab time again because TXT gave us Back for More with Anita. And I have no words. This is truly just one of the best songs. And I'm so sorry. Like, it just had such taste. Like, the sound of it, the choreo, so many MJ references. Wow.
It's incredible. Like, we clown ourselves a lot for how much we like this song, genuinely, because we're like, why is this the best collab ever released ever? And we might be the only ones who think this, I don't know, but it is so good.
And even had one of the best debuts ever. I'm so sorry, that is my like honest opinion, with Trouble. I really enjoyed Ives' releases, especially Either Way, just a really nice meaning. Boy Next Door had But Sometimes come out, and this was the first time I really started liking their music.
Yeah,
and
me too.
I feel like this is the sound that I would prefer for them rather than like the more softer, like cute concept, I guess. This is like in the right direction for me. Dio proved that he is that vocalist with I Do. Just a very pretty music video, just felt like a drama. And our faves want us had a comeback with Baila Conmigo as their title, and I'm just waiting for the tour. Just so desperately waiting for the tour.
This comeback was crazy good. And I feel like the second we listened to the highlight medley, not even the actual songs yet, but this song was already stuck in my head. So hats off to them for that one.
Well, and they had like mermaid type concept photos, so we were very excited. And I ended up going with one of their songs from this album. I went with Simulation as my song for September. I just can't resist them, not one bit. Very similar to May pick with Intro Lethe. I enjoyed that slowed down, like almost there's something James Bond about this, and I feel like people think I'm crazy, but I'm sorry, I grew up with James Bond like engraved inside my brain because that's my dad's obsession. Just a very like suave, sensual sound from them, and I think it's something they do very well, both like concept, like being able to perform that way, and just like their vocals. And I'm really hoping to see this on tour one day.
We are going to see it on tour one day. We're manifesting this. They're coming back around. I'm just waiting for the official drop. Because they have to.
That and Zodiac are the ones I'm manifesting.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Zodiac, Zodiac did have a release this month as well with Lemonade. This was so good. Like, I honestly expect good things from them anyway, but this one was fantastic. We also got Get a Guitar from Rise, and then super incredible, inspiring, fantastic woman Hwasa released I Love My Body. It went viral. It's fantastic. Another super popular release this month was 3D by Jungkook. And DPR Ian also released another song this month called So I Danced. It's very pretty. One of my favorite songs though, and the song of the month for me for September, is going to be My Way by Trends. Now listen here, I don't know Trends well at all, but this song for some reason gets so stuck in my brain and will pop up randomly, and like I honestly had to go on a little bit of a search to even remember what song it was, but this song is just so incredible, and I honestly really like a lot of their music, and I am curious what's gonna happen when I start giving them more attention, because they seem like a group that I could get really into. So anyway, My Way by Trends, really good. Highly recommend it if you haven't heard it already. We also got to see Dreamcatcher this month, which was so much fun.
Moving into October, we also did a recap for this month as well. If you want to go back and listen to that, get more of a deep dive into the month. J-Idol again released just an iconic song. That's kind of just what they do.
That is what they do.
And they had I Want That. So good. I love the music video a lot and like the concept that was going on there. And very happy for BY's return with Holy Toast.
Oh, we've been waiting for him to come back. We love his music a lot. I'm not gonna lie, Holy Toast was interesting, but it was definitely like him. So I'm just excited for him to be back, to be completely honest.
Nextinary Heroes had their 4th mini with Live Lock, and just makes my heart smile anytime they come back. And Jae Chang debuted as a soloist, which again is another one that makes my heart smile. I'm so happy for him. Just like knowing him, about him, like so much pre-debut, moving to Boys Planet, and now where we are. I love him. And NCT Wish, who at the time was just called NCT New Team for the time being, they released Hands Up, and it was exactly what I needed it to be.
Yeah, agreed.
I was kind of nervous just because like you have such expectations with NCT and the sound you're thinking you'll get with them, and this just went above and beyond what I wanted.
It was literally like a unique sound to them, but with an NCT flair, which I didn't even know was possible anymore with the amount of subunits that they have.
And they actually recently released concept photos. They look so good. They do have like schoolboy
They have to go through
concept
that phase.
going on.
Yeah.
But I'm not mad about it because like they had like other photos that weren't like so in your face schoolboy, and they all looked beautiful. Like, I'm just so excited for them. Anyway, moving on. 17 had just a beautifully written and well-rounded album, 17th Heaven. They never fail to like amaze me. They're not even like, I like them a lot. They're probably ones that I like the members and their personalities a little more than music-wise sometimes. I just prefer other groups' sound, just depending. Like, they just have like a softer, sweeter vibe to them. Mm-hmm. And this was just so perfectly them. Like, oh.
I think this is one of the biggest releases for 17. Maybe that's dumb of me to say because I don't know them very well, but I feel like this was just a very big album for them and for Carrots in general.
Mm-hmm. It just shows just their passion behind their music and just, I don't know, very, I don't know. Anyway, Hanse, the love of my life, released Gummy Bear.
So happy that he's back. He's doing so much work.
I could have literally sobbed. We completely fell for 82 Major with their debut, along with One Pack's pre-debut, Goat. I'm so proud of my boys. So proud. Oh my gosh. Like, this was like an emotional month.
Yeah, it kind of was.
Now that I'm realizing. Wow.
Yeah. Like, just a lot of new people that we care about a lot releasing stuff.
And some great comebacks from Taemin, Bobby, NCT 127, and TXT. Like, literally everybody was doing great. And we fell head over heels. We fell over the moon.
Over the moon?
We were over the moon.
Oh, there you go.
For Moon Jung-up with XOX. And somehow just continuously blown away by New Jeans and everything that they do. Especially with their release this month with Gods for the League of Legends Worlds.
Again, with those video game soundtracks, I'm telling you guys, this Gods is so good.
It is actually the one that I ended up choosing for my song of the month. Honestly, how could this not be everyone's choice? Like, you just listen to it and you're just blown away.
Agreed.
Like, the vocals are absolutely unbelievable. It's very nice seeing a different side and like vibe to them, like just so different from their usual concept, and just shows that they can do so much more. And even though it is for like a video game, it shows a lot of potential. And like, I don't want them to change their sound. Like, what they have is going so well for them, it fits them.
But the fact that they can do it,
the fact that they can do that, I love. And I'm just really excited to see like where they go in the future, because even if they do ever like end up changing things up, just because like who they are, I feel like they'll be able to like adapt to that and be successful like with any concept.
Fully agreed. And like you said, how is this not everyone's choice? It's actually my choice for the month as well. And surprise, I'm actually going to use my Joker for this month because I had to also include Guilty by Taemin in this. And now here's the story. So I was going through all of these songs and I was choosing my favorites for each month. And there were some months that were extremely hard. And I was like, oh, I could easily use the Joker here. But then it was kind of strange because I felt like for each month, even though I had a lot of favorites, there was one standout that was the absolute top of the month. But I'm like, I can't waste a Joker. I have to use this somewhere. And Taemin is the love of my life. He is my ult bias. And I am so unbelievably proud of him for this comeback. And I'm always proud of him. But anyways, I felt like this was just a necessity. And I also literally listened to this 2 times in a row on my drive home tonight. So I feel like that's a fitting Joker use.
Well, now it's funny because you used your Joker on the month with Taemin, your ult, and I used mine on Yoongi, my ult.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's cute. Some other releases that we got this month in October was Baddie by IVE, which was so much fun and I loved the music video for. We also got Pentagon, who released Universe, which made me sob. It was so sweet. We also got a song that we both really enjoyed, and I think we've talked about in an episode before, but Lightsum released Honey or Spice. Super catchy and just such a fun song overall. Another song that we absolutely love that came from this month was Mugshot by Superkind. Another super iconic release for October was Gum by Jessie. That one definitely went viral and there was lots of dance videos about it. Also, in the month of October, we did get to see TAM this month, and I also got to see The Rose. Absolutely fantastic.
Now, in November, very thankful for Changbin doing the Vivis Maniac Dance Challenge. I needed that. Another release that I really enjoyed was PH1's Rosetta. The song was good for no reason, and this man is fine for no reason.
Facts.
He recently started his little broadcast channel thing on Instagram.
Oh, that's fun.
And it feels like I'm straight up have a bubble for free because he's like saying sweet things to us.
Oh, that's really cute. Not him giving free promo.
Right.
Or free bubble, I guess.
Basically, like he's checking in on everyone, making sure everyone's eating, and then he like sends cute photos of the little dog, and then he sent a video of him like singing, and he's like, don't spread it. Shh. Like a little spoiler for like upcoming song. I'm like, sir, you just released this to like thousands of people.
Didn't realize we were having a private conversation here.
Anyway, he makes me blush a lot. Like a lot. Anyway. Other shocking releases were Omega X and Fantasy Boys with Junk Food and Potential. Seeing Junk Food was just like
that was
so unexpected. We were like waiting for more from them for a while because they had a rough
first official comeback after their rough patch. Yeah.
And so like that was very exciting. But then Fantasy Boys, we didn't watch the show, but after I heard this,
Potential's
I instantly wanted to watch the show, and maybe I'll go back and watch.
We should.
Zero Base One and Wavy made me want to cry over No Tour even more with On My Youth and Melting Point. Like, I need tours right now.
Yeah, those were proof that we need tours terribly.
And The Boys Watch It was a complete shock to my system.
So good.
Oh my gosh, I was watching it.
Watch it. I get it.
And I was taking so many screenshots and sending them to Abel, and I'm like, who's this? Which one's this? Blah, blah, blah. Oh.
Yeah,
she's my go-to girl because I can't tell them apart yet.
Yeah, say it's our curse. Yeah.
And then I don't know, it's just messing up my whole like bias thing with them because still learning. But yeah, that was like I think everyone died. Everyone died.
I'm pretty sure.
And then Stray Kids just keeps outdoing themselves. They said earlier during 5 Star, they're like, "Oh, our next album will be bigger. Like, don't even think about this release." The next one will do better. I'm like, you're lying. There's no way. There's literally no way. And then here they are.
Yeah. With Rockstar?
Yeah, Rockstar album was so freaking good. Absolutely loved that. And then Hybe, just as a company, killing it. We have JK's Standing Next to You, Insanity, and Hypen's Sweet Venom, and I Would Secretly Die for Still Monster, and Team's War Cry. Hello?
Yeah,
that song's insane. All of these releases are amazing.
November is the month of Hybe, apparently.
And my most anticipated debut ever in the whole wide world, One Pact officially debuted.
Yay! And it was incredible, as we expected.
So I'm very excited to do a group chat on them eventually.
And as much as you were anticipating One Pact, I was also very highly anticipating Ace coming back from the military, and they did have their single release, I believe, of Effortless. It was absolutely stunning, and I literally could just sob at the fact that they're all almost back. We also had a very big and iconic release from VIX with Amnesia. Everyone was very surprised and excited to hear that they were doing a comeback at all. We also had Baby Monster, I believe their debut with Batter Up, which was actually really good, and I was very impressed with them. And we also had another song from aespa, Drama, which is so catchy, right up their alley, absolutely incredible. For November though, my song of the month has to be Poppin' Love by Wavy. This song is so sweet and so uplifting, and I absolutely love it, and their vocals sound absolutely incredible, and it came out right as we were going into our deep dive about NCT in general, so I was already really NCT on the mind, and Poppin' Love just became one of my favorite songs, so that is definitely my choice.
And I ended up going with War Cry by Team. I freaked out when I heard it and watched it for the first time. Again, I already said this earlier, but in Hypen's lore is something I'm really obsessed with, and the connection with Team's makes me very excited to dive even more into Team's lore. So it's just very pleasing to see lore heavy release, and loved all of like the wolf references and movements and the choreo. Cool. I really focused on them a lot like right after, and completely fell in love with Fuma. So that's my bias. That was solidified very quickly after that release. And if I didn't already use my Joker, I probably would have used this month to include Potential, because that is how much of a big impact that was, and like how shocking that was.
It's truly, like if you haven't listened to Potential by Fantasy Boys, definitely go and check this one out.
And last but not least, we have December releases. Honestly, it wasn't like as good as I was expecting for the end of the year, like a big like
I know, right?
going out with a huge bang.
It's honestly because everyone's releasing stuff for award season.
Yeah, like that's what we had talked about the other night. So I'm like, okay, it makes sense. But there were some good ones, such as ATEEZ with Crazy Form, and just that album in general, the first time they've done unit songs.
It was so exciting.
And they've recently been releasing videos for those units, so those have been amazing. And TVXQ made a comeback, and wow, just did not disappoint whatsoever. And they proved that they basically invented K-pop with Down and Rebel.
Honestly, we kind of have this thing, like we'll go into it in a different episode more, but everything K-pop related seems to tie back to TVXQ somehow.
Honestly.
And honestly, they're just the kings of K-pop, truly. And they said, don't worry, December, we're gonna take care of you guys. We got this month. We also had Vicha do their official release for Ready for the World, which was really fun, very cute. For my song of the month, though, I had to choose Mots by ATEEZ, which is Hongjoong and Songhwa's subunit song. Holy crap, this song is incredible. It gave me the rock sound that I really needed and was craving this month, and Songhwa is another one of my old biases, and I just absolutely adore him and absolutely adore Hongjoong, all of ATEEZ. But I'm just so proud of them, and this was just such a good song. Probably my favorite off the album, which is a bold statement.
And my choice this month was Boogeyman by Lucy. Just a really unique and fun sound. The video itself was also very creative, and even though I was like very blown away by TVXQ, like it was insane. Me saying again, I'd use my Joker. This is another Joker potential month just because of those two. But like them being amazing is very expected.
Right.
So I wanted to choose one that was just very shocking to me, and since I'm still very new to Lucy.
Yeah, we don't know Lucy very well at all. I remember we heard this song and we were like, well, this is giving us the creepy like October vibes that we want so badly. Like really loved this one. And it made me want to get to know Lucy more.
Mm-hmm. And so yeah, I loved this sound. It had the creep factor that I needed and reminded me of Kakagori, if you've seen that anime. Like I genuinely feel like it could be like the main title song or like the one at the end. Like
yeah, completely agreed.
Next season, add that in.
Honestly, I feel like 2023 was just full of absolutely incredible songs and iconic moments, iconic releases. I feel like this was definitely aespa and New Jeans' year when it comes to girl groups, to be very honest. And then we also had very big names like Stray Kids, ATEEZ, and 17 making huge release drops, and Hypen and TXT releasing maybe their most iconic albums ever. And wanted to shout out the NCT 2023. I feel like anytime NCT does an entire album release, like with everybody on it, it's just a notable thing in that year anyways. And also just a shout out to NCT in general for taking up not only our entire November, but also feeding us very heavily this year in general. We also got some incredible comebacks from original older groups, and also got to know some incredible new groups that debuted this year as well. Which, to just get a little bit more specific, we did have those comebacks from TVXQ, like we said, could not rave about them more. And then also VIX's comeback was so iconic and anticipated and very good. And of course, Golden Age with NCT. Also, we did an entire reaction to this, so if you want to go over to Patreon, you can check that out. It's a lot of fun. I also think another very iconic release this year was Guilty by Taemin, because it was his first comeback after coming back from enlistment, and along with Hard by SHINee, like honestly, that was an iconic one as well. But they are all like officially back, and it's also very personally iconic because it was like my first comeback with them. So I'm just shouting that out there.
And for me, just some of the most like iconic releases throughout this year have been 17 Super, Jung Perfume, JK Standing Next to You, and Joohoney's Freedom. I feel like those are just very impactful upon the first watch, and I do have an outline running continuously at the moment where it's like, this is K-pop, like songs that are just very like in your face. Like if you were to show someone what K-pop is and just like the powerfulness that comes along with that, some of these songs are on that list.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to take a small break and remind you that if you're enjoying this episode so far, make sure to follow the podcast and turn on notifications to make sure you never miss an upload in the future. And if you'd like to show some love, feel free to give us a rating as well. We'd really appreciate it. For this week's segment, we're doing K-pop guilty pleasures and its mashups. While we're doing this episode, we discovered a mashup by Multistan Pleasures. Perfect fitting for this segment. and they did a mashup of K-pop releases for the first half of 2023, and it was honestly so good.
It was incredible.
A lot of mashups can be like messy and kind of all over the place, but they really made it flow well, even whenever they like changed the overall like sound that all the songs were going in.
When a mashup hits, it hits like hard, and this definitely was one of those.
And I'm really hoping that they'll either do one for the second half of 2023 or overall, just because this year was so good. So honestly, go check that video out because it is really good. Okay, and then moving on to just big news or iconic moments of this year. So one of the biggest things was BTS entering their enlistment era. Having the biggest K-pop group in the world going into the military, it was of course going to be heavily talked about, and there's just so much speculation on like when they're going, who was going at what time, like in what order, if they were going
together, if they were going to go separately. Yeah,
so they all kind of just released solo work sometime before they left, and honestly surprised some went immediately after while others waited till way later. And we kind of just had a run-on joke that like RM was secretly already gone and like hadn't told anyone. Like I really kind of wish he would have done that. It would have been funny.
Right? Well, he buzzed his hair early and people were like, oh my gosh, enlistment. He's like, no, I'm just doing it for fun.
He's like, it's hard. I'm like, no.
This is just one example, yeah. Some other big news for this year was the 50/50 lawsuit. So all of the members, Kina, Sena, Siu, and Arin, filed to suspend their contracts with Attract due to a violation of contractual obligations, a lack of transparency in their financial settlements, and medical negligence during their promotions. Kina ended up dropping the lawsuit and returned, while Attract terminated contracts with the others. The company did end up releasing something that I'm just going to read to you. They said, "We took this action because the 3 members have not made any corrections or apologies for their serious breach of contracts." So Kina is now the sole member of the group, and the company has plans to add new members. So this was definitely a hot topic during the year, and a lot of people were talking about it.
And there was a lot going on with K-pop during festival seasons. Blackpink became the first K-pop group to headline Coachella. TXT became the first K-pop group to headline Lollapalooza, and NewJeans also performed at Lollapalooza, which was only 1 year after their debut in their first US performance in front of like 70,000 people. So I can't even imagine. Like that's such a big accomplishment in general for being so shortly after your debut, but that being your first US performance?
Yeah, that is crazy. Wild. We talk a lot more about NewJeans and that whole concept in our NewJeans group chat, so definitely go check that one out.
Then Stray Kids headlined Lollapalooza Paris, and the Rose performed at multiple Lollapalooza events and BST Hyde Park.
This year we also got the creation and debuts of global groups. We had A2K forming Vicha and Dream Academy forming Cat's Eye. We do have an episode all about this as well.
And they're both set to debut this year, so it'll be kind of fun. Like last year we were able to talk about their journey and their show, and then now this year we'll eventually be able to talk about their debuts. And this was honestly just such a big year for boy groups. We got Zero Base One broke all-time records, selling over 1 million copies for their first EP. They were marketed as the initiator for 5th Gen, and honestly just good ones to pass the torch to a new generation.
Yeah, completely agreed.
And we got Psychers, Boy Next Door, Zodiac, 8-Turn, Rise, which was also the first non-NCT related group to come out of SM since 2016.
Wild.
And since Boys Planet, we obviously got Zero Base One, but we also have Even, One Pact, Ampersand One, TIOT, and TOZ.
So I know we mentioned a lot of songs in this episode, and honestly, they are so worth listening to if you haven't listened to them already, but I think it is time that we choose our song of the year.
I'm literally still deciding as we're sitting here.
I know. So I decided hard. Right before we started recording. I was looking through all of our songs that I had chosen like tops for in all of the months. And honestly, it just came down to the fact that this song was not only an incredible song, it was an incredible music video, incredible performance by an incredible group, and it was just an absolute incredible release for this group in general. And we called it at the beginning of the year. I think Beautiful Liar by Monsta X is the song of the year.
I love it.
Like I honestly just feel like it's so deserved. Like I was looking through all of these songs and they're incredible.
Yeah.
Like we got some good songs this year, but like when I really just look at this list and I don't think about it very hard, I feel like it deserves that.
Oh, I'm struggling. I have like 3.
What are you thinking?
I'm between Busoksun's Fighting, Zodiac's Calling, and Juhani's Hype Energy.
Ooh, those are good. Those are really good ones.
Oh.
So I think one of the things that helped me also decide to choose Beautiful Liar is the fact that it has been over a year now that it's released, and I still get excited every time I listen to it. So I feel like that's a good, like, as you're trying to choose here, think about like 5 years from now, what song are you still going to be like, wow, this song? You know what I mean?
Okay, I had to take a break to listen to my two options. Still internally having a crisis, but at this moment, I think I'm gonna go with. Why am I acting like this is the finale of Bachelorette? Ju Honey's Hype Energy. Oh,
it's so good.
it is really good.
That is such a good song. Honestly,
it's so scary.
I know. Right? Honestly, there's no bad choice here.
Oh, I know.
Like every single song that we talked about could easily be the song of the year, but yeah, that's a good pick.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so powerful.
And it's so
It's
like
honey.
diverse, and it's honey. Yeah.
And it's definitely in my list of those like this is K-pop kind of song.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I feel solid.
Now, if you want to shout out your favorite song for the Song of the Moment, as well as participate in more of our podcast segments, you can join us over on Patreon. As always, you can find us on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube at The Lunapod, and on Instagram at The Luna Podcast for up-to-date information on episode releases and behind-the-scenes fun. We post all sorts of content, so definitely make sure to follow us and check that out. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye! What are you looking forward to most in 2024?
The Zodiac concert I'm manifesting.
That's
That
valid.
won't happen, but
That is valid.